Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob continuing the narration for the Break the Ice side story in Arknights. And oh boy, will today's story be a spicy one. Shit be going down in these next three parts. So yeah, today we'll be going over the stories for stage 5, 6 and the scene in between, so ST-3. So, without further ado, let's begin with the story for Stage 5. Title, Hunting Grounds. Let's begin with the before story. The leader of men knelt before Kieragander and offered her the highest regard. Thus asked, "These lands are no longer masterless. All who live on these lands worship and revere your holiness. And so, please tell us, what is our name?" And Kieragander answered, "I have a name for thee. From this day these lands shall be called Kierag, and thou shalt be known as the children of Kierag." Kieragander, page 2. Sir Arctos? I'm here. Your orders, great Saintus. No need to be so tense, Sir Arctos. I don't eat people. This is the first time you are participating in the holy hunt yourself, Saintus. I am not the only one. Take a look at the various warriors around us. With you gracing our presence, we are all tense, eager to put out our best show. As the Saintess, I believe participating in the holy hunt with the warriors of Kieragander, my rightful duty. You make a fair point. Let's not talk about me. It seems something has been on your mind since the hunt began. If there is anything you would like to ask, please, don't hesitate. I guess I wasn't going to fool the Saintess. If you don't mind, you can think of me as a friend. And I, too, will think of you as a friend. Great Saintess. In my heart, I see you as a friend, Great Saintess. In that case, let us talk as friends. Very well. Then, if I may speak my mind, I want to know your thoughts on the whole transfer of power affair. How straightforward. We are friends, after all. When it comes to battle, the Pale Roaches are no less impressive than the Browntails in Silver Ash. In subterfuge, though, we're no match for them. Hiding machinations and manipulating others, it's not my style. You are right. However, my friend, you will have to forgive me. Before I answer your question, I must first make sure of something. Please, go on. Sir Arctos, you are a brave, loyal warrior. I know you as a frank, straightforward individual, but I also know you nonetheless give your matters due consideration. You say friends should not hide anything from one another. Let me be honest and get to the point. I would like to know why you have been so staunchly against Enceodus' plan to open up to the outside world. I'm a ruffian, Saintess. It doesn't matter how much Enceodus boasts about his so-called opening up to how attractive it all is. I don't care about windbaggery and lip service. All I care is what he brings. And I see him bringing waves of unfaithful foreigners gushing into our homes, the destruction of our lands and mountains in the name of expansion, and the children of Kieragander losing their faith after working in his territory. The thing he brings to Kierag are convenient. He rakes in lots of money and has built many big houses on the back of it. I know all that. But if everyone takes after him and casts aside faith in the name of prosperity, what will become of our lands? Kiaragander ordered the Pale Roaches to protect Kiarag. As such, I, Arctos, will not allow anyone to bring it to ruin, however they try.
Now I understand how you feel, Sir Arctos. In that case, it's time for me to answer your question too. Sir Enciotis proposed to turn over all his core lands to me. It was so sudden that it caught me by surprise.
So you didn't know beforehand?
Indeed, I never expected him to make such a suggestion. But, I don't claim to know... I don't claim to understand Sir Enciotis' thought process and how he arrived at the idea of turning all powers over to me. However, if we look at the outcome, I don't think this is a bad turn of events.
You mean...
At the Vine Bear Court, I watched the masses pray to Kiaragander day in and day out. There is one thing that I understand better than Sir Enciotis, and that's the fact that Kiarag has not yet lost its faith. I suppose now that this decision has been made, whatever happens from here won't be so easily influenced by any one person. The unexpected always comes to pass, no? If Sir Enciotis hasn't thought of this before, then I must have thought too highly of him.
Fine. Whatever the case, for everything else, I trust your words on this. To tell you the truth, Great Saintess, up until you just spoke, this conversation made me feel as though I had been talking to someone entirely other than the Saintess. I guess I must be overthinking it.
I am saddened to hear how you feel about our conversation, but I will never deny that Silver Ash is my name too. However, when I became the Saintess, I separated from the secular world. It was the same Sir Enciotis who stripped my name of meaning.
Great Saintess. We can't hold the beast back any longer, huh? All hands, get ready to hunt. Saintess portraits, Saintess embroiderments, Saintess sculptures. The symbol of the Kiarag faith. What are you waiting for? Bring Kiarag's blessings home with you. What a huge crowd.
Hey.
Whoa,
Whoa, that gave me a jump. What are you spacing out for? You've been standing there, not moving an inch. Oh, did that scare you?
I'm fine.
You seem fine to me. What are you looking at? Did you catch the holy hunt ceremony? Even the Saintess is joining the hunt this time. Everyone's here. Everyone here has been looking forward to it.
How did this ceremony come about?
From what I heard, the Vine Bear Court found in these scripts a couple of centuries ago that this was the day Kiaragander first appeared to us, and so they made this Kiarag's biggest festival. As for what to do during the ceremony, you see how most people are just enjoying the festivities. The Saintess has one other thing to do though. She has to cleanse the Chigeti loot obtained during the holy hunt. And the specifics of that process, you'll find out later. Come, let me show you around. This season every year, the devotees who teach and study at the academy come back to the Vine Bear Court to preach or to give lessons about Kiaragander. Let's have a listen.
A millennium ago, our forebears angered Kiaragander. She vowed to never again protect Kiarag, and a harsh winter befell our lands. Every year, to call her fury, the Vine Bear Court picked the girl with the pure soul to head skyward toward the mountain top, carrying a bell that represented her, until the young maiden sacrificed her soul to her. When she heard the cries of The 100 girl, Kieragander, at long last forgave the people of Kierag, and the cruel winters came to an end. That was how Kierag's first saintess came to be.
This again, huh? Right, I read a different version of the story in the Vinebear Court's texts.
A different version.
Every year, to claim Kieragander's fury, Kierak chose a girl to be its saintess, who was to sit atop Mount Carland and pray until her death. Kieragander is said to have appeared before the masses as a young girl, and so everyone believed that a maiden's pure soul could reach her and beckon her back to us. This ritual continued for almost 100 years. Over time, the people gradually turned against these reciprocated rituals. There was a rebellion against the Vinebear Court led by a small clan leader whose daughter was chosen to be the saintess. Many of the Vinebear Court's buildings were leveled, and many of its texts kept since ancient times were destroyed. Ever since, the Vinebear Court's understanding of its past has been widely off the mark. And the most dramatic thing about this turn of events is that the saintess still climbed to the top of Mount Carland that year, and Kieragander regained her strength after a century-long slumber. Hearing the prayers of the saintess, she awakened. The signs of her awakening were so obvious that the people immediately noticed. The resistance against the Vinebear Court came to a close, just like that.
Sounds a lot more realistic.
Right? At the same time, it's also a lot more cruel. After all, Kierak's snowy mountains are known to swallow men whole. Sir, a large group of beasts has been spotted up ahead. These beasts are unusually brutal. They're attacking our soldiers at the front now.
They're just beasts. There's nothing more to be afraid of. All of you, stay here and protect the saintess. Keep your formation and do not panic. Valais, you stay here too. Everyone else, come with me. We'll back up our brothers up ahead.
Sir Arctus, wait.
Great saintess.
I will come with you. But great saintess, your safety.
Valais is right. Your safety is what's important here. Please wait for us here. The Pale Rush warriors will protect you. Wait up, Arctus. Ratatas, what are you doing here? I thought the Browntails and the Silver Ashes were supposed to take the hunts elsewhere.
The Silver Ashes have left already, but something doesn't seem right about all this. I was going to come and give you a heads up before we split, but it looks like there is no need for that anymore.
What do you mean by that?
You mean the unusual pack of beasts up ahead, Madame Ratatos? Fine observation, Green Saintess. I don't know the specifics, but I have a bad feeling about this. I only hope that no one is trying to pull anything funny on occasion. As dignified as the Holy Hunt, let anyone putting on a show. Anyway, we should be more careful. For the first time ever, the Saintess is personally gracing us with her presence during a hunt. You're exaggerating things, Madame Ratatos. You do have a point, though. Since I am here, I must stand alongside our brave warriors, instead of covering in the face of danger. Please, the situation is urgent. Let us talk on the way.
Well then. How fortunate is Kierak that you feel this way, Great Saintess. I won't stop you. Valais, lead the way.
Yes, sir. Why aren't you here yet, Monk? The Saintess doesn't personally join the hunt every day. We have to seize the opportunity to take care of as many beasts in front of her as we can. But what if we hurt the Saintess by accident? Whatever. It's not like that bitch Ratatas would do anything. Worst case, I'll own up to it. You must take this chance, Monk.
How can these beasts be so fearless? This defined. This defined. This definitely isn't normal. Here I thought the beasts in the mountains would be scared stiff with the scientists joining us. Looks like things aren't that simple, because the scientist isn't really all that. Watch your mouth. The scientist isn't for you to discuss so nonchalantly. Think about what will happen if Sir Arctos catches you complaining. Fine, fine, I get it. He'd chew me out if he heard. As long as you know. Wait, watch out behind. Get down. A silver arc of light pierces the raging snowstone before the beast is able to let out its chilling cry. With the beast's icy fangs mere inches away, its warm, stinking blood is splattered all over the warrior's face. Slowly, the Kierak Saintess sets her hand down from her bowstring as she walks towards the source of commotion. Just as the text described, she is accompanied by both Browntail and Pale Roach fighters. She is the Kiragunder's Vicar on Terra. She is Kiragunder's supreme emissary on the mountain top. The girl walks forward. Even the snowfall comes to a halt in her presence.
Are you hurt?
The Saintess?
The danger is yet to pass. Stand up, young warrior. Warriors of Kiragander, raise your weapons. Join me in fending off these beasts and completing the challenges posed to us by Kiragander.
Yes. For the Saintess. For the Saintess. Alright, and now for the after story. Are all the preparations in place?
Yes. Sir Gnosis, may I ask you a question?
No, this is rare. This might be the first time you've asked me anything. Go ahead.
If I may be so bold, I'm afraid that the Browntails might get caught up in the investigation that follows if we go through with our plan. I'm just worried that now that you and the Browntails have formed an alliance, wouldn't it be detrimental to your plan if anything should happen to the Browntails?
I've considered that, but it doesn't matter. What comes of the Browntails isn't important. This is a rare opportunity, and I do not want it to go to waste. At the same time, I hope you'll know to save your own skin. Should worse come to pass, you needn't think about the Browntails. I know Enceodas. If your testimony is useful to him, he won't harm you, at least for the time being. And when the time comes, I will send men to ensure your safety.
Sir Gnosis,
What's the matter? If you're having any second thoughts, we can bring others to execute this plan in your stead.
No, please, let me do it. Whatever your orders, Sir Gnosis. Your wish is my command.
We've taken care of all the beasts now. Some of the young'uns got a few scratches here and there, nothing major at all. It's all thanks to you, great Saintess.
I haven't done anything. Rather, all of you have admirably demonstrated your courage in battle. I am sure Kiragander is proud of all of you, her soldiers.
You flatter us. Great Saintess.
You're the one from earlier.
Right, it's me. Thank you for saving my life just now. Great Saintess, that was far too risky. Nonetheless, I have to thank you for saving this runt.
We are all children of Kiragander, and it's only natural for me to save one of my own.
Great Saintess.
That was truly a fine shot. I don't know you were such a capable archer. The Saintess must be able to protect the people of the Snow Realm. This is hardly worth mentioning.
You're too humble. With your shot just now, your marksmanship must definitely rivals even that of Kiarak's finest archers. Great Saintess, Sir Arctos, Madame Radatas. This is bad.
What are you babbling about? How is any of this bad? You're one of the Silver Ashes. What's the matter? Don't tell me you were ambushed by beasts and Ensiotis is looking for our help.
Not beasts. Then what is it? Out with it. Yes, Sir Ensiotis was ambushed by an assassin.
Huh. What did you just say? Ensiotis was ambushed. Somebody so bold to make a move on him during the Holy Hunt.
Half of you stay here to protect the Saintess. Stay alert. The rest of you come with me.
Wait, Arctus, are you out of your mind? What are you doing? Are you going to his aid before we even mention whether Ensiotis really needs it or not? Consider the circumstances. Have you really thought it through?
There's nothing to think through. I know what you are thinking, but it doesn't matter to me one bit whether Ensiotis is really turning over a new leaf or is just putting on a show. I, Arctus, won't permit anyone to make trouble during the Holy Hunt. Generation after generation, my family has sworn to defend Kierak, and that includes the integrity of the Holy Hunt.
Can keep your cool, can you? Whatever, let's see where this kindness of yours will get us. Ensiotis.
Sir Ensiotis, you're bleeding. Are you hurt? I'm fine, no need to panic. But you're injured. It's nothing major. Fine stealth technique. You caught me unaware, though I suppose it was careless of me to assume no one would make trouble during the Holy Hunt. What's the matter? Not going to show yourself? If you had the courage to do this on such an occasion, surely you know what a great disrespect it was for Kieragander. Come now. Did you not consider this?
You can stop taunting me. If I'm brave enough to do this, of course I've considered the consequences. Ensiotis, if I don't make it out of these hunting grounds today, you're coming down with me.
Looks like you are truly determined.
That goes without saying. Ensiotis, you act like a devout follower, but you don't have even the tiniest bit of veneration for Kieragander. All of us can see the damage you've brought to Kierag.
It's not often that someone says as much to me outright. There are not many in Kierag who bear such a great grudge against me these days, after all. For you to criticize me like that, I must have done something to harm your prophets. Or perhaps you are a truly devout, even radical follower. Now, which is it?
Do you think I'd just tell you?
Sir Ensiotis, watch out!
Out of my way.
Regrettable. You had these berserk beasts prepared in advance, didn't you? I don't have many guards accompanying me during the Holy Hunt, and it's indeed a good chance to strike while they are preoccupied. And yet it looks like you've wasted your one chance.
Are you mocking me? You're hurt. It doesn't matter how lightly you make out your injuries. You can't fool me. Your movement is starting to get sluggish, isn't it? I just have to land one more hit and...
Despite the circumstances, now that we're facing off in the open, how confident are you in landing a fatal shot?
Let's find out, shall we? Damn it. You can block arrows with that cane? Are you screwing with me?
Please don't get the wrong idea. It is not my intention to look down on you. You came well prepared, and you have an excellent plan. However, all plans must be put into motion, and they rarely survive contact with the enemy. My hope is that everything can be solved by diplomacy, but one of my companions possesses exactly that level of violence. Thanks to her, I understand violent people well.
What are you talking about?
Still not showing your true face? Or am I mistaken? It's a little hard to slide through an error after all.
You...
But it's just part of the job, Mr. Ensiodas. So, will you two keep the fight up? That's not for me to decide. Giving up is the best course of action here. At the very least, no lives will be lost.
You can drop that kind act. It disgusts me. You want to get information from me, don't you? You want to know who it is that wants your life.
I've considered that, but it doesn't matter. What becomes of the brown tails isn't important. This is a rare opportunity, and I do not want it to go to waste. At the same time, I hope you'll know to save your own skin. Should worse come to pass, you needn't think about the brown tails. I know Ensiodas. If your testimony is useful to him, he won't harm you, at least for the time being.
Monk, where'd you go? Come and help and take a look at my plan. This one will show Ratatas for sure. Oh, Monk, I knew you had my back. Everyone else is always calling me dumb. Huh, they think I don't know. Monk, tell me, do you think I made something of the brown tails? I can, right? Right? Yep, I know you wouldn't lie to me. Monk. I won't let you.
Her movement is swift as always, as though she is leaping across a river, and as though she is leaping off a tree. In an instant, her black figure springs off the ground before falling and disappearing below the cliffs. She leapt off. An unexpected choice. You didn't stop her. That's not part of my mission. You don't seem too surprised either. There aren't many who can properly set up the pieces on the hunting grounds. If we search for evidence, we're bound to find some. Of course, having a witness wouldn't save us some trouble, though whether the witness is alive or dead doesn't actually matter all that much. Your underlings aren't absent. Perhaps they are tied up with the beasts running amok. About that, please be sure to thank the doctor for me. Master, what's the situation? All taken care of. Some of our men are hurt, but nothing major. I just got some news from Weiss. Sharp, what are you doing here? I'm on a mission. Doctor's orders? Did the doctor anticipate this? How did you know it was me? It's not that hard at all. I already told you, I'm very familiar with warriors who can break a deadlock. Ensiodas, are you alright? Where's the assassin? Arctos, I never expected to see you here. Perhaps this is a portent of the Silver Ashes and Pale Roach's family finally burying the hatchet. I'm here, but that's got nothing to do with you. I'm only here to flush out the underhanded lowlife who dared to disrupt Kiragunder's grand ceremony. They will pay for this. You are truly Kiragunder's most faithful follower, Arctos. I'm afraid you came too late, though. What do you mean? You would never let an assassin go. Where are you hiding him? Wait, this cliff. Don't tell me. Exactly, Arctos. My man will look for any traces of her. Let's continue our hunt. There's blood on the ground. Are you hurt? It's nothing major. Master, we must treat your wounds immediately. We must at least stop the bleeding. We're getting back to the hunt. I refuse to ruin Kiragunder's ceremony. Send the word out that all is well. Of course. Before everyone's eyes, the young head of the Silver Ash clan takes a step forward. The snow blows all around him, scattering as he gazes upward. There is not a single scripture that describes such a sight. The patches of red behind him gradually turn fainter in color, before finally leaving nothing but pure white that blends into the mountain scenery. No one can stop him. No one dares to. Ensiotis keeps walking straight ahead. Alright, and now for the scene in between this and the next stage. Title: One Mindless Move. Many people believe that their loss is determined by a single move, without ever realizing that every step before that was forcing them closer to defeat. Let's begin. What? Sir Ensiotis was attacked at the mountains yesterday.
Huh? Is that true?
Of course it's true. Sir Arknights had General Gula rush people over to report to the Great Elder. The other nephew of my third uncle came back with General Gula. They arrived just now, and I heard the news from him. What a good lad. Now that's some big news.
But who would be so foolhardily as to attack Sir Ensiotis on his way to the Holy Hunt, no less?
Do you think it could have been the Chigete? How the hell could have been the Chigete? Didn't we already say a person did it? If you ask me, it must have been the doing of the Pale Roaches or the Browntails. They tried so hard to suppress the Silver Ashes, saying something about how Sir Ensiotis had trampled upon our teachings. But who knows? Maybe they were really after the Silver Ash clan's head. I wouldn't go around spewing claims like that. Spurious? Do you have any idea how much Silver Ash land the Browntail clan gobbled up after Sir Ensiotis left Kierak to study abroad? Now that Sir Ensiotis has had a change of heart and took the initiative to show favor to the Saintess, the other two clans are panicking because they no longer have an excuse to keep the Silver Ashes down. Well, who do you belong to? I'm with the Browntail clan, so what? You're a Browntail. How can you say those things about your own clan? Because I've been working down in the valley for so long, I honestly feel that Sir Ensiotis has been wronged. Sir Ensiotis has brought so many good things to Kierak, but has been kept down in the Three Clan Council. Even now, after he has offered to return to the government and taken the initiative to repair his relationship with the Weinberg court and the Saintess, look how they treat him. Even if you're a Pale Roach, does it not make you make your conscience ache? You have a point.
That's right. No matter how the circumstances are, an attack on Sir Ensiotis is simply going too far.
Besides, to do it during a ceremony as important as the Holy Hunt is also a grave insult to Kieragander. Exactly. No matter what the facts are regarding the situation, there must be some kind of explanation.
You said it.
That's right, the perpetrators must be found.
What's wrong? Didn't you sleep well last night?
You don't look so good. Ensiotis ended up running into trouble after all.
Word of it has spread and everyone's talking about. I can see that many people are already demanding an explanation for this matter. Judging from the look on your face, did you not expect this at all?
It's precisely because I did expect it.
Huh. Then what's got you in a twist? Gnosis doesn't see eye to eye with Ensiotis, and he's been plotting to overthrow him since they parted ways. I didn't think Ensiotis would leave him so open, nor did you want to interfere in the affairs of the three clans, so you came to the ceremony as a guest. I'm just talking about superficial appearances here. From that angle, that is how the situation seems, right?
Everyone has a skewed understanding of the situation.
I don't have a clue what goes on in that head of yours all day, but I feel like you've infected me into enjoying thinking about these things, so let's do just that. Since Ensiodas used to be good friends with Gnosis, and we know the latter to be a crafty man, he must have prepared for Gnosis's betrayal from the very beginning. But he was attacked anyway, and it became a pretty big deal. In other words, he engineered the situation to become more sympathetic in the eyes of the public. But what exactly does this accomplish? Right now, the Holy Hunt party must be on its way back. Shortly, the grand ceremony will come to its final ritual, including the ceremonial crowning of the Saintess. If he can catch the perpetrator at the ceremony, that'll increase people's faith in Ensiodas. But that's it, right?
Actually, there's another possibility.
What would that be?
You'll find out soon enough. The Saintess shot and killed the prey herself during the Holy Hunt. Yes. And now, a news of the attack on Ensiodas has already spread among the people. Yes. Not only that, but a number of people are demanding that the perpetrator be punished before the coronation ceremony. To injure a countryman during the Holy Hunt is to gravely disrespect Kieragander. Of course this deserves punishment. But this is still the Saintess coronation ceremony. Both of you bring up a good point. Great Elder, your judgment. Given Ensiodas' superb abilities, there is little chance that the mastermind behind this will not be sniffed out, regardless of who it is. If only things were that simple. Please, do explain, Great Elder. The Saintess' behavior has gone increasingly out of line, yet Ensiodas' response has been quite uncharacteristic. What are those siblings planning? What does the Great Elder mean by those siblings? No, there is no possibility of any collusion between the two. But perhaps this is the Silver Ash blood that runs through their veins. Everyone, the Great Elders, the Great Elder, and the Saintess' teams are about to arrive. Enough. Let's go to meet the Saintess. Hurry. Hurry, it's the Holy Hunt party.
Look, Sir Ensiodas' wounds have been bandaged.
The rumors were true after all. Green Saintess, please deliver justice for Sir Ensiodas.
Find the perpetrator who sabotaged the Holy Hunt.
Matriarch Radatos and Sir Arctos appear ill at ease.
Might they be connected in this incident?
The Great Elder is here.
The Vinebear Court must uphold justice for Sir Ensiodas.
We can't accept the ceremony if you just try to sweep things under the rug and move on. My friends, I am very grateful for your concern. Though the perpetrator has not been found yet, it is only a matter of time. For now, let us first prioritize the ceremony. What say you, Saintess?
As Sir Ensiodas is so faithful to Kieragander, I have no objections.
Then, children of Kieragander, know that this year's ceremony holds a different meaning. The proposal by the head of the Silver Ash clan, Ensiodas, to have the Saintess restored to power passed the previous 3 clan council, and this was announced throughout our territory. And today, on the day of Kierag's grandest celebration, we hold the coronation ceremony for the Saintess. This will also be the last ceremony that I preside over. Kieragander gave her own flesh to the Pale Roach clan, making the land fertile so that the people of Kierag would go hungry no longer. Valais?
Sir.
I am a researcher. Even should I lie, I would never lie about my research. You may distrust the results of my analysis, yet you still hold on to my sample from back then. You can use it as an experiment to verify the things that I said. Or are you ready to accept this truth? Do you truly believe that your father died for blaspheming Kieragander? Valais respectfully brings forth a cup of wine. This cup represents a bountiful harvest. I offer this wine made from nourishing grain in Kieragander so that we may be blessed with a bountiful harvest next year. The great elder receives the wine and drinks it in one gulp. As head of the Pale Roach clan, I, Arctos Pale Roach, pay the highest tribute to Kieragander.
Your prayers will surely reach Kieragander.
Kieragander gave her own hide to the Browntail clan, making the forests lush and full of beast life, so that the people of Kierag would no longer succumb to the cold.
Yucatan.
Matriarch. Yucatan respectfully brings forth a scarf. The scarf represents comfort and good health.
I offer this cloth knit from warming fur to Kieragander, so that we may be blessed with comfort and good health next year.
The Great Elder takes the scarf and drapes it across the Saintess.
As head of the Browntail clan, I, Ratatas Browntail, pay the highest tribute to Kieragander. Your prayers will surely reach Kieragander.
Finally, Kieragander gave her own bones to the Silver Ash clan, making the mountains rich with metal, so that the people of Kierag could forge tools and weapons. Motherhorn. Sir. Motherhorn respectfully brings forth a small knife. The small knife represents peace. I offer this weapon of refined ore to Kieragander, so that we may be blessed with peace next year. The Great Elder takes the knife and hands it to the Saintess with both hands. As head of the Silver Ash clan, I, Nco the Silver Ash, pay the highest tribute to Kieragander.
Your prayers will surely reach Kieragander.
Next.
Master, the perpetrator has been found.
Great Elder, now that the perpetrator has been found, I know not whether to continue the ceremony or interrogate the perpetrator. This perpetrator must be brought to justice.
That's right, the perpetrator must be punished.
Since the people worry about this matter, bring the perpetrator. Very well. Come.
Huh. Monk? What's going on? Why is Monk in custody? Does this have to do something with the assassination attempt? Damn it, that idiot.
Wait, Russ, what are you doing? Assassin who dares disrupt the Holy Hunt, state your name. Why would you seek to take Sir Enciotis' life?
I kill what needs to die.
Assassin, keep your mouth shut, will not spare your life. Your sacrilege against Kieragander during a sacred ceremony is a sin that must be punished accordingly. Know that if you then by the commandments, I can order you execution on the spot. Fine, then you shall be dealt with accordance to the commandments. Even if you choose not to speak, your identity will not be difficult to uncover.
Wait, hold on. It's curious. Yucatan, what are you doing? Let go of me. Monk is one of my people. I won't let you hurt her.
Is this true, Skurious?
It's curious. Get back here this instant. This isn't the time or place to be fooling around. Yucatan, get your wife under control. Russ, you don't understand the situation. Let's not make a scene right here, alright? Come over here, by me. What am I not understanding? Am I not making a scene? They're all like that. If I didn't speak up, they would have condemned Monk as an assassin. Silence.
Looks like that saved us the trouble of identifying the assassin. Detain Skurious.
Wait, what? Why are you arresting me? I'm telling you, I never had Monk do anything of that sort. Someone must be trying to frame us. Great Elder, surely it cannot be appropriate for us to force against a member of the Browntail clan solely due to the words of an insignificant person who knows nothing of the situation. As you can see, my stupid little sister could not be possibly seek to assassinate Sir Enciodas, for she clearly lacks the brain cells to do so. Hey, what are you trying to say? I told you to shut up. Skurious, know your place.
What, you mean to say that your sister has been deceived, Ratatos? Do you not find something unusual about that?
Very perceptive, Great Elder.
Enciodas, what do you think?
Ratatos has always treated me kindly, and I have always trusted her. Even if we have our differences, I believe she would not resort to such drastic measures. Ratatos, I have no reason to believe you to be of so little faith as to behave in such a manner during a celebration of Kiaragandr. While my well-being is of little consequence, this disrespect of Kiaragandr cannot be tolerated.
What do you mean by that?
Now that we know that the perpetrator is a member of the Browntail clan, no one will believe the empty rhetoric that the Browntails have nothing to do with this matter, without providing some concrete evidence. Or turning over the real perpetrator, even if I am willing to turn the other cheek, I'm afraid that the House of Browntail will be hard-pressed to convince the public. Ratatas feels that she can understand the man's meaning, but the buzzing of those words inside her ears is far too thunderous to bear. The entire ceremony is awash with turmoil. She has never once felt the gaze of the surrounding people in such a way before, full of distrust and hostility, like barbs in her back. Skurious also seems to be saying something to her, and not in her usual sharp shouts. Her lips are silently quivering. Ratatas can tell from a glance what her voiceless words are. In the past, the two of them played similar tricks without the notice of adults. Her sister says, "But I just wanted to do something for the Browntail clan." Great Elder, what is your opinion?
Your words ring true, Enciodas.
Great Elder, is there something wrong?
I'm fine. Great Elder, what's happening? There's some green liquid coming from the Elder's lips. He's been poisoned. Someone poisoned the Great Elder.
Let me see.
Stay back, Sentis. There may be other poison.
I'm not afraid. No, the poison is too potent and is surpassing my healing arts. I can only barely maintain the Great Elder's life for a while.
Who would poison the Great Elder, and when? Wine. It must have been the cup of wine that Arctos offered to the Great Elder.
Bring the cup.
Here it is.
Without a doubt, there are traces of poison.
That's impossible. So that's your game. Arctos, I never could have imagined that you would dare poison the Great Elder in your bid to take over Kierag. What? What reason would I possibly have to poison the Great Elder? The Pale Roach clan has always been on good terms with the Winebear court, but you leverage this relationship to gain many privileges throughout Kierag. The people gathered here are all witness to that. Over these years, you have used this privilege to surpass me, something I endure to this day. You have all seen this with your own eyes. And now, even as I have compromised by proposing to return temporal power to the Saints, you still have to terrorize the House of Silver Ash. Once the Saints holds all the power and the three clans are equal under her leadership, will the Pale Roach clan still enjoy its privileges as it does now? Perhaps because the Great Elder was no longer willing to support you, you then chose to contact Madame Skirus, plotting the scheme unfolding before our very eyes. Madame Skirus was responsible for assassinating me. You would poison the Great Elder, and the two of you would take advantage of the situation to seize power in Kierag. Not a bad plan, Arctos. You dare slander me, Ensiodas? Slander. It is a fact that your clan is on good terms with the Winebear court. It is a fact that the Browntail clan is now allied with yours. It is a fact that the elders agreed to return temporal power to the Saints. And as of now, it is a fact that you poisoned the Great Elder. I would ask of you to present to I would ask all of you to present to pass judgment. I am the one who slanders, or is Arctos the one who deceives? But Sir Arctos isn't that kind of person.
Sir Ensiodas was injured during the Holy Hunt, and the Browntail was responsible. Now Arctos poisoned the Great Elder. What's there to doubt?
I can't believe I had such a wrong impression of Arctos. I never thought he was faking his piety all these years. I refuse to believe it.
Wake up already.
Pin down the murderer and Madame Skirus. Right away.
Get your hands off me, you bastard. Skirus. Matriarch. Wait.
Who's there?
Ice arts, and from such a long range. Could it be?
Who is it?
Look, over there.
Warriors, it's time to rescue your clan leader. That's Gnosis. Why is he here? And why are the Browntails with him?
I haven't heard from him since he was blacklisted from Carlin trade. From the looks of things, he's defected to the Browntail clan.
Ensiodas, you've gone to such great lengths to paint yourself as some pious victim, making your high and mighty proclamations atop the stage of yours. Have you no sense of shame? I was wondering where you were hiding, Gnosis. Turns out you fell in with Ratatas. Hiding? I've been biding my time for this moment. Ratatas, what are you hesitating for?
Gnosis, you...
Take a good look at the people around you, and the distrust they harbor for you in their eyes. Ratatas has betrayed Kiragander. She must be punished.
Arctos, I thought better of you.
Strike them down, Sir Ensiodas. Strike them down! Get a good look at your sister. Ensiotis is about to take her away.
Let go of me!
Don't you dare hurt my wife.
Ah. Yucatan! Scarius, Yucatan!
Now is your last chance. Ensiotis said that he trusted you, but did he ever actually trust you? You should have seen through this long ago. He's just forcing you to make a decision. But do you really think you can protect your Browntail clan simply by turning over the assassin that he wants? Look around you. See how the people are looking at you. Do you have any idea what will become of your clans should Ensiotis take over Kierag?
Matriarch.
Ratatos, don't tell me that you intend to protect neither your clan nor your lands, and instead will simply relinquish your public image and privileges. If you still choose to do nothing, even at this point, then allow me to help you. Gnosis turns to look at Ensiotis. Eyes blue arcs condense in the palm of his hand, but Ensiotis remains unfazed. Gnosis, you disappoint me. What a coincidence, Ensiotis. I was just thinking the same thing. Degenbrecher. As you should know, these arts are nothing to me. Alright, don't waste my time. Let's put you down, Gnosis. How pathetic. Pathetic? Even if you strike me down here today, it won't do you any good. You may be able to stop one person, or even 100 people, but can you stop 1,000? 10,000? Look behind me. The flames have been lit.
Arctos,
What?
do you believe me or Ensiotis?
I don't trust either of you.
Then you should at least know very clear now who the real enemy is. Browntail clan warriors, prepare for battle. First, we rescue Scarius, then bring Ensiotis to me.
Yes, Matriarch. Pfeifen, Pale Roach warriors, information. Take down the traitor. Expose to the masses that Ensiotis is the real traitor. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Degenbrecher. Get Gnosis.
You don't need me.
I don't.
Alright.
Motherhorn. Sir. Take care of the Great Elder and the Saintess.
Right away.
Weiss.
Sir?
Bring me Arctos and Ratatos. Try to avoid taking any lives. Now isn't the time for that.
Understood. It shall be done.
The other possibility seems to have been the correct one.
So, what was all of that?
That was all planned by Ensiotis from the very beginning.
Didn't we know that all along?
I mean, including Gnosis showing up.
Huh? Do you mean that?
Sharp. Your orders, Doctor. Ensiotis always had contingencies in place. I need you to rescue Arctos and Ratatos. I'm not sure I understand. I need a reason to act, Doctor. This goes beyond my duty to protect you. At this point, Ensiotis has already won. Even if Arctos and Ratatos aren't in danger, Kerak is bound to undergo tectonic shifts. My duty is to uphold Rhode Island's interests and protect you. And from a practical standpoint, the things going on here have nothing to do with you, Doctor. Even if Ensiotis wins, no harm would come to you, as you are his guest. From another perspective, he was the one who formed business ties with Rhode Island, not the other two clans, let alone Kierak as a whole. If anything, interfering with Ensiotis' plan is more likely to threaten Rhode Island's interests, as well as put your safety at risk. What I'm going to do is prevent wars and save lives. Doctor, people are dying in every corner of this world. If you go around committed to save people, genuinely devoting yourself to that course, you're just going to end up overcome with guilt when you fail. I break with a lot of Rhode Island when I often find myself thinking that saving and protecting lives is kind of pointless. I believe in the victories you bring and this discernible value that comes with these victories. Kierak's population is in the millions. The people you are talking about aren't just a few. Not dozens or hundreds, but tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands. Is this the victory you promised today? Just treat it as overtime. Alright, I'll see it done. Launching a sneak attack during a chaos? Don't let them get away.
Scurious. Yucatan. Hurry. Stop. Out of my way. Stand down, Yucatan of the Browntail clan. If you come peacefully, the Master will treat you mercifully. He has no interest in taking your lives. As long as Russ can get away. Russ, hurry. Sorry.
Hurry, Scurious.
Yucatan is still back there, and Monk too. You're still thinking about the assassin, you idiot. She didn't do anything. But Yucatan, what about Yucatan? He's my husband. Look at what's going on around you. Yucatan sacrificed everything to save you. Plan on jumping back into the fire? So you're just going to abandon him? If I was giving up on him, I wouldn't be fighting back. Now stop being a damn fool. Fine, I'll just keep running. Yucatan.
Where did these freaks in their weird armor come from? Sir, Ensiotis' forces outnumber us too heavily. We're getting overwhelmed. What do we do? There are no cowards in the Pale Roach clan.
Arctos, stop trying to play the hero. We need to team up and cut our way out of here.
How do you expect me to live the dawn?
You won't have to say in the matter if you die here.
Damn it all. Gula, gather the warriors and follow me. We're going to break out of here. Yes, sir.
Sorry about this. Did you get you already have this place surrounded? You still have the option to surrender before you pass to the point of no return.
Makai of Ensiotis, you speak only lies. We will fight our way out.
I would prefer if you calm down first. You stand no chance. You can't run.
Actually, they can.
Who's there?
A tall man stands in the corner of the entrance of a corridor, under the shadows of the eaves. Behind him, several Chageti, who were supposed to have the perimeter secured, lie in the corridor. Out of the shadows strides one of the operators most familiar to Courier during the time he spent in Rhode Island. He knows exactly what this means.
You... Who are you?
You're the doctors.
Why are you saving us?
It's not my job to tell you things. The exit is this way. I've already dealt with the guards outside. Aurora, escort them out.
Got it.
You aren't getting away. Ugh. Who's next? Try me.
Don't do anything rash. Get information.
Get information? Just for a single person?
Get information.
Understood. Very good.
Captain Sharp. I'm so sorry.
There is no need to apologize to me, courier. Nothing personal. It's just business. "15 minutes later.
Captain, you're injured.
There were a lot of them, and Courier's blade is still pretty quick.
Captain, Courier,
I spared him, don't worry.
So, what's next?
We're all done with work over here. On to the next job. How's the Great Elder doing? It's not looking good. So the Great Elder back... Send the Great Elder back to the Winebear Court. Sir Enciotis will arrange for a special doctor. And Great Saintess, Sir Enciotis has invited you to return to the Winebear Court and hold the coronation ceremony again after things have settled down.
I know.
Enya does not resist. She knows that right now she does not have the leeway to resist. From a certain point onward, she has known that this was all staged farce. And the only one who set this farce in motion was her very own brother. He ruthlessly shattered all the mental preparations she had for this moment, as well as her vision for the future. Even if she could take down everyone standing in front of her right now, the people would still ask her to take the position that Enciotis prepared for her in the Winebear Court. She looks all around her. When she sees Matterhorn take notice of her gaze, she deliberately looks away. She sees the combatants clad in modern cutting-edge equipment tearing through the formation of Silver Ash warriors, escorting Arctos and Ratatos away. She sees the eyes of the people focused on Enciotis like a rapt audience in front of a theater's master. She sees the hope and fervor in their eyes. She sees Kjar, and she sees the person standing next to her, you. Your eyes meet, and with them you see sorrow, reluctance, and fury. All fleeting emotions. She finally averts her eyes and takes a step forward. Master, Rhode Islanders suddenly rushed in and helped Arctos and Ratatos escape. Doctor, you always keep me on my toes.
All this happened in the piddling amount of time it took me to suppress Gnosis.
I must say, Rhode Island's attack indeed surpassed my expectations. I did not consider the possibility of them intervening, but underestimated their strength. This time it is I whose plans have been forcefully disrupted.
Should I go after them?
There is no need. I still have a backup plan. Moreover, whether or not those two die here has no bearing on what I'm going to do next. The doctor must realize as much to make a decision like this. What do you think comes next?
Assuming this doctor isn't an impulsive fool, then these two still have a role to play. As for what comes next, since you seem to hold this person in such high regard, then it isn't surprising to me that your doctor would take advantage of this opportunity to manipulate the two clans into an obstacle for you.
I do not take the doctor for such a flamboyant daredevil.
You seem to really understand this, Doctor.
It's just my intuition. My intuition is a chess master. However, an outsider has rescued the heads of the Pale Roaches and Browntail clans. Even I cannot fathom what one can achieve in this situation, so I am most curious as to what comes next. Of course, if what you said is true, then I eagerly await our match.
Let's just call it a day and shove those thoughts back in your head. You were the victor of today's mess. Everyone is awaiting to hear from the victor.
I know. The scene left behind by the turmoil has not yet been cleaned up, and the people are heatedly discussing what just took place. But as Ensioda slowly makes his way to center stage, everyone stops what they are doing, and they all turn to look at him. The crowd is waiting for him to pen the denouement to this farce. People of Kierak, I am so sorry. It pains my heart greatly to see such tragic events unfold on a holy day. But this has given us an opportunity to see who the true traitors are in the land of Kierak. They are none other than Arknights and Ratatas. They were dissatisfied by the changes brought about my proposal to relinquish our powers, and tried to assassinate me and poison the Great Elder to seize control of all of Kierak. Without a doubt, there can be no greater blasphemy to Kieragander. Though they managed to escape justice just now, I swear that this matter should not end here. Arknights and Ratatas will be given fair trial without fail. Trial! Though in my heart I truly wanted to see these individuals captured and brought to justice, I had no intention of starting a conflict. Kierak is the land of Kieragander, the land of all who dwell in the icy mountains. It does not belong to me. As such, let it be known to all people of the Pale Roach and Browntail clans, there shall be no civil war, as that is something we are all worried about. Consequently, my Silver Ash warriors will only be deployed to protect the Vine Bear Court. We will await the Great Elder's recovery, and then discuss Kierak's future together with the Saintess. But I hope that the people of the Pale Roach and Browntail clans can at least clearly see who the true enemies of Kierak are. I believe that we will surely find a better path forward when all of our interests are aligned. When that time comes, we will be able to usher in a better Kierak. Ensiodas! Silver Ash! People start to chant Ensiodas' name, with no concern for the fact that this celebration was meant to culminate in the Saintess's return to power. From the mountain summit and the direction of the Vine Bear Court comes a melodious ringing of a bell. The bell was supposed to celebrate the coronation of the Saintess, but now it seems to herald a coming revolution. Man, shit went down at that part up. Alright, one more stage for today. Stage 6 before.
He's not sending any men after the other clans. He's just guarding the Vine Bear Court. Right, he's guarding the Vine Bear Court. Now he's truly seized the court.
On the surface, he's won.
You're right about that. Even I understand the way Ensiotis does things now. Him handing power is all a feint. He wanted to flip the whole table over all along.
The people of Kierak still can't imagine life without their god.
Right, most of us thought he had no way to overcome the Kierak people's faith for Kieragander. They thought he didn't have what it takes. The great elder Ratatos, Arctos, even I thought so. Now that this has something to do with... Now that this has anything to do with me, a lowly maid who serves the Saintess. Speaking of which, I thought you'd ask me why I'm here with you.
There are many reasons to choose to be an observer.
Just like you have many reasons to choose to interfere, right? Thank you, Doctor. I will stand firm with my choice, and I hope you will too.
Doctor, Doctor, the work is done. Where are they? I couldn't keep their clan leaders. Ratatus asked to give you her thanks, but it looks like she's got her own plans. She went back to her territory. Arctur is heading back to his place too. Looks like he is gathering his forces to fight it out with Ensiotis.
Doctor, if you let them go back to their lands, won't that lead inevitably to death?
Only they can control their people. What the doctor's saying is that, with how furious the crowd was, they would most likely have gotten a death sentence right there, and then if the two of them were caught. And even if that wasn't the case, they would still no doubt stand trial.
The two of them may be labeled traitors, but the two families' subordinates, especially the Pale Roaches, won't buy that so easily. And regardless of whether they take up arms or start infighting, Kierak will fall into chaos.
But whichever it is, Ensiotis will be the righteous one. To him, even if things start chaotic and there are considerably casualties during the process, the whole mess can be still cleaned up in the end. He's not the kind of man who just sit it out. Right, Ensiotis went through all the trouble to shape the situation. That means he cares about the masses. When I bumped around Carlon Trade, I heard a thing or two about his methods. Most of the staff there think he's got foresight. And now that he chose to stir the pot out in the open like that, you can tell it's his best option despite all the risks it comes with.
I sure hope so.
The Silver Ashes and the Browntails were on better terms in the past. Naturally, he's planted more than a few of his pawns who can help control the chaos. The problem is still the Pale Roaches. Their equipment and combat prowess may be behind the times, but their numbers are no joke.
Right, and the Silver Ashes have always been on pretty bad terms with them. Besides, the Pale Roaches' men are all very loyal. It's hard to say they'll betray the Pale Roach clan even with everything that has transpired.
That's why I can understand why the doctor decided to help the two of them. Family can only come together if the family head's still alive, and as long as we can influence the leaders in some way, the doctor can still pull off some rough plan. Still though, Doctor, I guess I don't have to say it. Garrick's got some complex terrain. It's not easy to get around here. We don't have much time. Let's meet with them first. Sorry for the wait, Matriarch.
Sorry that you have to help me now, of all times.
Don't mention it, I'm a Browntail. This is exactly the time I should stand with my Matriarch.
Do you believe anything Ensiotis said?
Of course not. He has to be framing you.
How about the preparations?
It'll take some time to get back to the Browntail territory from Silver Ash Lands, though I have a car ready, and I pulled a few strings. Once you and Madame Scurius are ready, I will make sure you two are taken back to our land.
Any news from back home?
After word about the ceremony got out, a few towns near our territory's borders started flying the Silver Ashes flag. There's nothing like that towards the center, but...
Enough. I have a decent idea of how many men he planted inside our family, and how many of them are here. There are. I'm afraid I won't be able to count all of them when they're all gathered in one spot. Has Ensiodas been up to anything?
The Silver Ashes have set up camp at the foot of Mount Carlan and on the mountainside.
At least he's a man of his word.
The populace there has been very receptive to him. Absolutely shameless.
They saw Arctus's betrayal at the ceremony with their own eyes, after all. Out of everyone who doesn't trust Arctus, it's gotta be those who saw his crimes with their own eyes that don't trust him the most. Let's not talk about him. What about you? What are you getting from Ensiodas?
I don't follow?
Drop it already. Your acting's terrible.
Come on out and arrest Ratatos.
If I couldn't see through that trap of yours, then I had no business leading our clan. Ratatos, I heard the cars. What's going on here? Take a guess. He was going to sell us out. Looks like you're not as stupid as I made you out to be, dear sister. Do you have to mock me even at a time like this? How many are still on our side? How many? Right now, right? How many? Scarius, do you understand what a big mess you've caused? I never thought... That's exactly the problem. You never thought. You never think. What was I supposed to do? I just wanted to show everyone that I can do something for the Browntails too. I just wanted to help you. You look tired, Ratatos. Are you okay? And if I say I'm not? Fine, I get it. This whole thing needs to end somehow, right? I was the one who started all this, so I'll be the one to end it. And I still don't know how Yucatan and my subordinates are doing. I can't just sit here and wait any longer. Wait, where are you going? I'll find that prick Ensiodas. I'll tell everyone that it was all a personal grudge between me and him, and none of this has anything to do with the Browntails. He can take my life if he wants, but he has to hand my people back. Sis, when did Grandpa yell at you again? You've done so well. Is it because you're going to lead the family? Is that why he keeps yelling at you? In that case, I'll be the clan leader. I'll go to Grandpa and ask him to stop yelling at you all the time. I'll lead the family so he can yell at me all he wants. It's okay. You don't need to worry about me, sis. I've got Yucatan there for me. We promised each other we'll always play with each other. He'll help me. He's really good at studying too. Also, you never cry when you get yelled at, sis. Even though you never cry, I don't know why, it really makes my heart ache. What's with you? You stinking bitch. You can laugh at me even at a time like this. Russ, my little sister. You're probably cursing at me in your head, aren't you? Something like that. Come back. Don't go looking for Ensiodas. You should stay out of this. Things aren't as simple as you think. Curious, do you remember we last had a nice chat together? I don't remember the two of us having a nice chat ever. I guess not. Alright, I need to think about what to do from here on out. You should go back to whatever it is you do. Oh, and be careful on your way home. Don't get caught. What do you mean? You aren't heading back to our land? Arctos most likely hasn't gotten back to his estate yet. Once he's settled down, he'll probably go out and pick a fight with Ensiodas. I've got to do something before that happens. Don't you do anything stupid. Don't forget, Ensiodas got Yucatan and Monk. And you, if anything happens to you, I'm going to be running the show back home. Don't forget that. Scarius could end up running the show back home, huh? That might not be so bad.
Look, it's Sir Arctos' team.
I heard he poisoned the Great Elder during the ceremony.
Shut up, all of you. Think about it, why would he possibly do anything as underhanded as poisoning someone? But, no, but... You're a pale roach, and you don't trust him? Enough, Gola. Taking it out on the common folk, have you no shame? But sir... It doesn't matter if we were framed by Ensiodas. What's done is done. Saying anything isn't going to help our case. But do we really have to swallow our pride and take it? Swallow our pride? Of course not. I'll hand it to him. He's good, but do you know what's the biggest mistake he made? He didn't kill me at the ceremony. As soon as we get back to the estate and have our forces gather, we'll head back and finish the fight with him. We'll show Ensiodas just what a big mistake he made. Very well. I should have expected no less from you, sir.
I won't give you this chance.
Valles! Those men behind you, are you betraying the Pale Roaches? Valles, the House of Pale Roach has treated you well. Why are you doing this?
You've treated me well. You still don't remember even now, do you?
Remember what? I, Arctos, am an honorable man. When have I ever...
This is,
Don't be afraid, Valles. Your father will get much better once he takes the Grand Elder's elixir and has the evil in him expelled. He was injured during the Holy Hunt to protect us. The Great Elder figured he was probably attacked by the Chigeti when he was all alone. He's too weak now. Come, I'll give him the medicine.
Why isn't my father awake yet? And why is this green stuff on his lips?
The evil has spread too deep. Kieragander no longer allows his presence here. He argued with the Wine Bear Court several times before. He must have been under the Chigeti's influence, and it culminated in the Chigeti coming to take him back today. If the elixir couldn't regain his strength and fate, then this must be her will. The wine the Great Elder drank. It can't be.
Yes. Do you remember the bottle of elixir that the Great Elder brought with him when he visited my father? How it was nowhere to be found? I'm sorry, my master. I had my doubts and I didn't fully believe it either, until the moment the Great Elder collapsed during the ceremony.
I sent my own officer with my own hands.
I don't blame you. It wasn't your fault. But perhaps it's high time that Kierak saw a change for the better. I hope you won't stand in my way. Please, think of it as a way to avoid having even more loyal Kierak warriors, and the way he did.
Keep keep Arctos from running into any trouble on his way, huh? Looks like the doctor got it right again. But I really should have brought Blaze with me. Out of all of the elite operators who take the enemy head on, she's the only one who's got the mobility to traverse the mountains terrain here. With the drains stopped, Kierag's transportation network might as well be non-existent. Oh, whatever. Let's get going.
Do you have to go? Yeah, my parents have already decided. There's no room for us in Kierag anymore. I still don't believe it was your parents who did it, and it definitely got nothing to do with you. I believe it though. What do you mean? I don't know if my parents really did it, and I also don't know if it wasn't accomplished somehow. Even if it were you, I'd forgive you. No one looks up to my father more than you, I know that. Ensiotis, remember our dream? Of course I remember. The two of us will turn Kierag into the most powerful country in the world. But you're leaving. I'll be back. Really? Yeah, my parents are thinking of moving to Victoria, and I'll go to school there. This is a good opportunity. I'll study all the advanced stuff there, and once I'm done, I'll come and back you up. Heh, you jerk. In that case, I'll let you in on this idea that I have. I haven't told anyone about this yet. What is it? I'm going to leave Kierak once both Enya and Encia have grown up. Like you, I'll study lots of things and come back. You're the future clan leader. Can you really leave Kierak that long? I'll come and find you when that happens.
Hey, Gnosis, here's your food. Don't think you're getting out of this mess just because you're keeping quiet. Let me tell you, every last person in the Silver Ash clan wants to skin you alive right now. How dare you do what you did to Sirenciotis and the Saintus? If it wasn't for his orders to keep you locked up here, I would have given you even a sip of water, let alone food. Not going to eat, drink, or even make a peep, huh? Alright then, you can rot here and die for all I care. Gnosis, you've changed quite a lot. You never used to sneer at people, much less belittle them as worthless. I could tell you the same. You will never use your status as a weapon, and you never thought much of a social pleasantries. It was something I had to learn to deal with the nobles. And I could care less how others see me if it means I can better focus on my research. What kind of research are you working on? Life science as well as originium analysis. Sounds complicated. What about you? Surely you must already have a certain standing among the nobles here. Do you remember what we said to each other when you left Kierag? I am very glad that I left Kierag, Gnosis. It wasn't until I came to the outside world that I realized we no longer live in times where isolation is enough to keep ourselves out of the affairs around us. In the past 100 years, there have been countless exchanges and conflicts between nations. Columbia rose quickly in conflict, while Gaul, a powerful country, was also wiped out in a conflict. All the world's nations are slowly changing in these times, separated by catastrophes. Refusing relations with others is no longer an option. If Kierak remains as it is, keeping its borders closed under the assumption that will earn us a life of peace and tranquility, then only destruction awaits us. We've reached the end of this peace and tranquility. We can't wait for anyone to throw open the gates for us. Kiarak must make contact with the outside world. We must take that step forward while we still have control. Come, help me, Gnosis.
This sucks balls. Stop complaining. You're starting to make me feel that way too. I really don't get it. Why is Sirenciotis only locking up Gnosis? If I were him, I'd separate the traitor's head from his neck straight away. What do you know? How is beheading him going to calm the Sirenciotis' anger? He treated Gnosis so well, only to be betrayed. If I were him, I'd torture this guy some. You have a point, but aren't we about to go to war with the other two clans? I want to be on the front lines. Look at you, all bloodthirsty. Master, how is Gnosis doing? He's fasted for a full day, sir. He hasn't said a word since we put him in there. Didn't even respond when we shouted at him. Let me talk to him. Of course. Hey, what do you think Sirenciotis is going to talk about? How would I know? Didn't Gnosis used to be his trusted confidant? I'm betting Sirenciotis is going to poison him, giving him an honorable death. You've been reading way too many novels. That said, it seems Rotatus is seeking the Great Elder's help. But both you and I know this would happen sooner or later. They can't possibly believe everything you have done is in the name of Kerag. Most of the company's employees know that it is Carlin Trade they're working for, not Kerag. A war is not something you start when you have a choice. I hope you can understand my hand was forced. Perhaps you're worrying too much. Bring down the other two families and rebuild. It's much easier than the honorable solutions you're pursuing. Kerag would never truly accept me if I seize power by force. In that case, let me do it. I have far lesser worries than you do. Let you do what? You can drop the act, Enciotis. This idea has crossed your mind, we both know that. Let me, the son of a sinner, the villain of Carlin Trade, be a traitor again. There is no one more suitable for the job. I'm not your pawn, Enciotis, and I am most definitely not your underling. I am your partner in crime. Even if you don't agree to it, I'll still do it. Actually, it'll be for the better if you don't. Our charade will be that much more realistic. Kerag has no room for me. Truth be told, I couldn't care less whether it had any room for me. It'll just be another item on my list of changes. I don't care. What's on your mind? I'm thinking that you actually haven't changed much over the last 20 years. And why is that? You're a conceited perfectionist. You've always wanted the perfect results and you always think that you can get it. The perfect results would be if Arctos and Ratatos had not been in a way. The Great Elder would also have accepted the change that Kerag is about to go through, and everything would naturally have unfolded the way we wanted. That isn't the perfect result, you know that. At most, it's the perfect dream. They can't see what you and I can see. In that case, you should never have expected them to share the same ideas as us. But you and I think drastically different as well. I told you, Enciotis, I'm not your pawn, and I'm not your underling. I have my own judgment, and our judgments share many overlapping points. Or would you like to finish me, the traitor, and make this farce real?
Under the dim light, Enceotis reaches his hand out to Gnosis. I'm just glad that you are my dearest friend. Gnosis keeps silent for a moment, and then he reaches out to shake Enceotis' hand. I told you, it will just be another item on my list of charges. I'm more than used to that. Nothing has changed from all those years ago. Massing his forces. What about Radatas? Take a look at this.
Dear Enceotis, the Brown Tails and Silver Ashes have long enjoyed an amicable relationship. Although we have had our differences in recent years, they are merely the natural result of our different views of Kiarak's future. With Kiarak's future having never looked as so bright, it is now clear to me that the Silver Ashes have come to represent the aspirations of the masses. With the transfer of power in place to prevent any unnecessary disputes and the uphold of Kiarak's peace, I, Ratatos, would like to pledge the Brown Tails' allegiance to the Silver Ashes. I would like to meet with you on this matter, if you would be so kind as to set aside our differences. In addition, I would also like to talk to you about the truth behind your parents' passing. Yours, Ratatos.
An obvious trap. It's worth going, nonetheless.
The situation is not so optimistic that you can take meaningless risks.
With one Gnosis, we've achieved our original goal. Now the Pale Urges and the Brown Tails are traitors to Kiarag. My spies inside the Brown Tails family will help us with the public opinion. As for Pale Roaches, they may be stubborn, but they are all upstanding people. Oops. Once they wrap their minds around the gravity of Arctos' crimes, much of the Pale Roach's doors will open to us. We have ample time to sort out what comes next. Arctos and Ratatos will not give up so easily. That is exactly why I will meet her. If Ratatos has come with me to Victoria to study all those years ago, she would not be so much weaker than I am. And now she has put her chips on the table, just like that. It would be untactful of me not to not call this bet. You will one day die of your arrogance, Enceotis. Then so be it, but that won't happen today or during this outing. As for Arctos, he's not entirely without surprises, and this is why I am having you step up now.
What can a hot-headed moron like him accomplish?
Arctos himself can't, though the doctor certainly surprised me. That is the greatest variable in this game of ours, and it's the one that I have to watch out for. The doctor. I agree that one has done many things beyond my expectations since arriving in Kiarak, but is this doctor really worth our concern? One who knows almost nothing about Kiarak has stepped into one of the stage's most vital roles within such a short period of time, greatly disrupting our plans. I can honestly say, if I were in that position, I wouldn't have been able to do it. And I also cannot begin to imagine what the doctor is planning to do next. Perhaps the doctor won't do a thing, or perhaps the doctor can do something that I wouldn't begin to imagine.
This isn't my first time telling you this. If you're afraid to lose, you better not act like you're enjoying the challenge. You fooled many, but you cannot fool me. You cannot fool the bodyguard who you hired. You cannot fool the bodyguard you hired from Casimir's either.
Likewise, this isn't my first time to offer you this rebuttal. Taking delight in a gamble and not wanting to lose are not mutually exclusive. Much of the joy one derives from a gamble comes not from the results, rather it comes from the whole march towards victory. Fine, say no more. This is always the hardest part for us to reach a consensus. I only wish that I will have a chance to save you before your arrogance ends up killing you. We will have many opportunities to do this later. In any case, I will leave you in charge while I meet with Ratatas. Is there anyone left in Trade who would listen to me? Weiss, Matterhorn. The two of them will pass on any of your orders. Gnosis, Sir Ensiotis has told us everything. We owe you much. I never thought it would be a ruse. Let's leave the pleasantries. And here I thought I could finally get some quiet time. My research has been halted for far too long already. At least I could read some books if you kept me locked in here. You're my partner in crime, and this undertaking is ours together. You will have more than enough time to do your research in the future. That's only if you make it back here alive. It's time to go, Ensiotis. I'm leaving everything in your hands, Gnosis. I'm curious, back at the ceremony, were you going at it for real? What if I was? Then perhaps you need to spend more time to work on your skills. You looked worse than before. I needn't your worry. My impression is that you could make half an enemy of mine. I have to worry, lest life get a bit too boring. Caster is only a side job to me. Your acting could be that much better too, if you were a little stronger. That said, I've never seen you even a little excited. Convincing performance. Not that you're acting. Gnosis, what should we... Where is Monk? Monk is being held in another room. I can take you there. Does she know? Sir Ensiotis said it's best for you to tell her yourself. Lead the way. Sir Gnosis. Monk takes out a dagger from her boot. It is her most prized weapon. It is a gift that Gnosis made for her between his experiments. She lightly strokes the dagger, her eyes clouded with doubt and uncertainty. Don't do anything stupid, Monk. It looks like you're well. Thank goodness. I'm fine. You've done a great job. I promised you. Whatever your orders, your wish is my command. Judging by your look, I assume you figured it all out. Right, Ensiotis and I had all of this planned in advance. I see, so that's really how it is. The Silver Ashes Weiss was waiting below the cliff to rescue me, and I've been wondering ever since. If this was all charade planned in advance, then what role do I play in it? And now that I find you here, I'm finally sure. My apologies. You didn't ever apologize to me. Monk, you stand firm in your beliefs. I understand, but I will judge for myself what they say. Ensiotis and I had a rift leading me to leave Trade and make contact with Ratatas. That was our plan all along. And the fewer people who knew of this plan, the better. That's why I never told you. Both of us knew the risks. I had to make sure even the finest details were under our control. Everything had to be absolutely perfect. This isn't one of my usual maneuvers. There is no do-over. If that displeases you in any way, I must apologize.
No, that's not it. Why?
What?
It doesn't matter what it is you want to do or what plans you have. I will always support you. Why don't you believe me? You could have trusted me.
Monk, I hope you can understand. It's because I fully trust you that I handed you such an important task under those circumstances. I trust you, my finest subordinate, to perfectly execute my plans. Don't overthink it. You've done very well, and everything is over now. Try to relax a little. You should take the time to rest. Looks like you're not in the mood to talk. I'll come and see you again.
Trust me. Who trusts me, and where are they? Sir Gnosis, can I trust you?
Alright, and let's finish this off with the after part. My dearest sister, you're jealous of everything I have, my authority, my standing, and my wealth. Yet you don't know that I'm jealous of you for everything you have as well. Your romantic life, your freedom, and your future. I often wish that we had the opportunity to trade places, even though I know we can't. To hand the Browntail clan over to you would mean our family's destruction. Likewise, if I could live your life, it would probably be a life of failure.
I should have expected no less, Ensiodas, coming to this meeting with just a single bodyguard.
I'm not here to fight, and my guess is you aren't here for that either.
I'd love to, though. Too bad, the Browntails don't have an enormous army like the Pale Roaches. Are you coming inside, Degenbrecher?
Would you like me to?
You can if you want.
Degenbrecher, wait outside.
Are you sure about that?
I don't mind at all. A show of good faith.
Ensiodas, you hide your true thoughts well. Good faith, you're just thinking that there's nothing I can do to you.
Of course, you could say I'm waiting for you to do something meaningful.
You won't be disappointed then. Come in.
If I remember correctly, this patch of land used to belong to the Edelweiss family.
Right. Nice house, isn't it?
It's in a good location, with a wonderful view. It's a splendid home indeed.
Generation after generation, the Edelweiss family has been in charge of Kiarak's texts and scriptures, and they've always enjoyed a decent relationship with the three clans. It is my grandfather who ordered this house built as a villa.
I heard Luca had an interest in architecture, and judging from the building's design, I dare say that even Victoria's celebrity architects could have plenty of praise for him.
I doubt he'd be so happy to hear your approval. If you like it so much, though, I could show you its original blueprints.
I will think about it. Ratatas, now that we're sitting here to share a conversation, do you know what I'm reminded of?
What?
The time 7 years ago.
7 years ago. Oh. You just come back from Victoria. You brought lots of things with you to develop your territory. Then you wanted to restore the Silver Ash's seat of the Tree Clan Council and to throw the country's gates wide open. So you came to me. You told me that once we opened those gates, we have business and the people of Kierak would get to eat better, dress better. After that, you and I persuaded Arktos and the Great Elder together, and so Kierak's gates were flung open wide, allowing us to do business with the outside. Those were wonderful times. Ratatas takes a sip. Sorry. Ratatas takes a sip of her system milk. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but whatever. Her words carrying a hint of nostalgia. Those were indeed wonderful times. The Silver Ashes and the Browntails worked together, side by side, while Karlan Trade, representing Kierak, traded with the outside world. Capital, technology, and skilled workers flowed into Kierak, and everything seemed to be going in the right direction. Yet you chose to put an end to those wonderful times yourself. Ratatas, I used to believe that you were an excellent partner. You were a disappointment yourself, Antiochus. Those wonderful times were yours, not mine, nor was it Arktos, and much less Kierak's. In the end, only Karlan Trade lived the good life. No one else did. How is that any way wonderful? Still, it's too late for me to say all this. The match's been decided, and I lost. The loser has the right to talk so. The loser has no right to talk so loftily. No loser would call herself a loser, Ratatas. Tell me, what do you know about my parents' death? Antiochus, do you think your parents were murdered by my grandfather and Arktos? The investigation at the time concluded that my parents were killed in a train accident caused by Gnosis' parents. I never believed it, though. At the time, just like the Tree Clan Council today, both Luca and Arktos' father opposed my parents' industrialization plans. I found it very hard to believe that these were not connected in any way. In that case, let me tell you the truth. The truth is that your parents did indeed die in a train accident. The only difference is that my grandfather framed the Edelweises. Hold on, I'm not done yet. My grandfather had actually been planning to have your parents killed. This house was prepared so that your parents could be burned alive inside during their visit. Alas, they died on their way here. And so this place, meant to be their tomb, was spared. Right, Arktos' father acquiesced to my grandfather's plan too. And as you know, a few years after your parents' passing, Arktos' old man passed his clan's title over to him and went off somewhere. Nobody knows if he is still alive. I assume you didn't invite me here just to boast, Ratatas. I never imagined this would happen, you see. I didn't want anything to do with my grandfather's dealings. Yet, in the end, the house where he was going to murder your parents is now where you and I will die together. That is indeed ironic. You bargaining chips for your life. I'd say it's a fair deal. Ratatas pulls the handle by her right hand. A chorus of mechanical sounds can be heard from beyond the ceiling and walls, almost like sharp laughter. Wait, isn't that the trap house Grandpa left behind? Why is it on fire? Isn't she in there with Antiochus? Don't tell me she wants to die with Antiochus? Ratatas! Hey, what are you doing? Come on out, Ratatas! Stinking pitch! Damn it! Why won't this door open no matter how many times I hack at it? Ratatas! Ratatas! Sis! Damn it. Taking herself out with him, huh? I see. That's an unexpected one. You're Ratatos' sister? Who are you? You're the one who's always following Enceotis around. You'll stand in my way? Wait, who gave you permission to move? Stop, all of you! What is it? Here for a little chat. Why would I chat with you? Let's cut the crap. Do you have any way through this door? It's so loud outside. After all these years, this trap still worked perfectly.
I thought your next move would be to escape while I was distracted.
If I was...
Okay, that's either a typo or whatever.
If I was to... wouldn't that mean that you could get away too? There's no way out in this room. Once it's activated, everyone inside is as good as dead. It won't be easy for anyone outside to break in and help either. Please, I beg you, Enceotis. Die with me here. You'll have me go out with you.
It's my time to wonder, Ratatos. What is it that drove you to go this far just to stop me?
Everyone always says that just like old Lucas, Ratatos looks cares for nothing but profit. Sure, I'm his granddaughter. How could I not? I started working with you because I had my eyes on the riches that traded with the outside world could get us. In the end, you and Trade gobbled up all the profits. That's why I was going to crush Trade through the Great Elder. That way, I could take the Looker for myself. That's why everyone thinks that's been my reputation the past couple of years. And you think the same way.
I won't argue that.
My grandfather always wanted to make the Browntails the greatest clan in Kiarak. That's what separates the two of you. Right before he died, he summoned me to his deathbed and loudly mocked Arctos' old man for being a coward. Then he told me to swallow both your family and the Paleworks whole. The way I see it, Arctos' dad was a more decent human being.
I agree.
And I also think that even if the Browntails became the only clan in Kiarak, the people wouldn't call themselves Browntails anymore. Anyway, Kiarak is called Kiarak. Kiarak is called Kiarak is because Kiaragander herself named this place so. Because our fate stood in these lands for over 1,000 years. But look at us now. It's been several hundred years since the clans started to manage their own lands. Before you came, all the three clan council was ever discussed was each year's events, and which family would foot a bigger portion of the ceremony's bill. We stand on the same lands, we speak the same language, eat the same food, and believe in the same goddess. Yet we grew further and further apart because we belong to different clans, and the truth is that's how we differentiate ourselves. Kiaragander is still in the people's hearts, but the Kiarak name is slowly being forgotten. When you came back to Kiarak and told me about your plan to open the borders, I was really happy. I was happy because you told me that not only will the Silver Ashes trade with the outside countries, you wanted the other clans to join. I thought that could bring all three families together.
Enceotis shifts his posture. Anyone who knows him knows this means he is listening attentively. Trades with the outside world as the Silver Ash family's business. It's naturally a different beast from operating it as Kiarak's window to the outside world. I've actually considered uniting the three clans myself.
You have? I studied up on economics quite a bit to figure out what it is you were doing. You lowered the tax rate to lure foreign capital and gave them special treatment. To keep the money flowing, you signed all kinds of unequal trade arguments with those big corporations. And you should know, I knew you were building factories to shore up the military. You were never going to be able to hide that from me. Do you think I called it's because I had my eyes on your money? I was scared. I couldn't see anything that suggested you were going to unite the three clans. All I could see was you trying to turn Kierak into something of your own, that or somebody else's. If the choice is between you and the Great Elder, I chose the Great Elder every time.
I have to admit, I have misjudged you, Ratatas. If you're opening up to me, I may as well tell you a little about this. Kierak may be rich in minerals and other raw resources, but crucially we lack any technology of our own. This places us at a disadvantage when it comes to technological trade. Some technologies can be bought with money, while others cannot. Do you know what that means? For example, the rights to operate the Mount Carlin trade route brought us an entire set of last-generation railway signals, as well as the rights of first offer to soon-to-be-retired rail cars. Without these, we'd have to rely on what my parents left us with, the old tracks and a railcar fleet over a decade old. They were practically useless for both industrial or civilian transportation. As another example, we traded the collaborative mining rights to the eastern mines for rim billetons or smelting technology and equipment. Do you know how much more efficient our processing became thanks to this technology?
I don't care what you're managing to what you managed to trade in Siotis. I care what you gave them.
We are out of time, Ratatos. Be it Victoria, Minos, Columbia, or Casimir's. The only reason they haven't laid their fingers on Kierak is that they don't have to. In earlier times, before nomadic cities were invented, when men were sent scrambling across the world by catastrophes, the different cultures that had been broken up all across the land knew little about one another. Modern nations had yet to be established, and there were no communications or contact between them. Then the age of innovation came 200 years ago. It was still a time when everyone focused only on their own development, rarely making contact with one another. However, fast forward a few decades ago, the nations in the world gradually began to make contact and clashing. With Gaul's support, Columbia declared its own independence from Victoria. However, barely a decade after that, the Battle of the Four Emperors led to Gaul's destruction. Columbia and Lithanian's war over Bolivar continues to this day. Not only that, but the conflicts between nations sped up their communications with one another. Countries began to enter into trade agreements, establishing trading companies in each other's territories. None of them could keep themselves isolated anymore, and they all began to find ways to get along with their other nations. And when all of this was happening, Kierak was completely oblivious. And now that the dance is at our doorstep, we're still oblivious. The dance? Danger? What the hell? Victoria is busy with its own mess. Columbia's pioneering efforts are nearing its western mountain ranges. For a long time, Kierak has been nothing but a barren, impoverished territory, not worthy of occupation. But if Victoria solves its internal problems, if Columbia has any ideas about Victoria, or even if Casimir's wants to head south, when the time comes, do you think Kierak will still be able to enjoy peace?
Hey, I'm talking to you. Are you even listening? Look, I'm begging you. Do you have a way to bust open the stinking door?
How clamorous. What was that? Pipe down and don't come too close. You'll ruin my uniform.
Is now the time to worry about that?
Degenbrecher shoves Securius, who is tugging her arm, to the side and walks towards the small house where Ensiotis and Ratatus sit. All of the windows have been sealed shut with metal plates, and there is a thick wall right in front of her.
This is your clan's. Are you sure you don't want to stop me? Why the hell would I? Do it already.
Degenbrecher grins a little and cuts through the wall with ease. Then she lightly kicks the wall, sending what appears to be an indestructible barrier collapsing onto the ground like a child's toy. The only thing that serves as a testament of its tremendous mass is the loud bang that could be heard when the wall crushed to the floor. However, Degenbrecher doesn't seem satisfied with the result.
If I knew this would happen, I would have ignored Ensiotis and thrown my old body into the storeroom. It's too much of a pain to do this with a sword.
The bodyguard tosses her blade aside and puts her namesake swordbreakers from her, and pulls her namesake swordbreakers from her waist. The falls like a sheet of paper through a shredder. The flames are spreading through the room, engulfing everything in their path. Yet the room's two occupants seem completely unconcerned about what's happening around them. It is as though they can't feel any of the heat, or perhaps they themselves are burning even hotter than the flames around them. I have to admit that I never expected you to feel this way about Karag. If our conversation had happened sooner, things would not have come to this. But it seems this must have been inevitable. Were it not for the situation we are in, we would never have had this heart-to-heart.
You've got that right. Inevitable. Right. Inevitable. If it's so inevitable, we might as well go meet Karagander together.
Ratatas is starting to feel exhausted. Her vision begins to cloud. In a trance, she sees her younger self playing with her baby sister and a boy. She sees herself amazed by the wondrous sight of railroads and factories. They are all moments to which she can no longer return. She shakes her head, and Sioda, sitting opposing her, has maintained his posture throughout. But be that as it may, she is no longer able to clearly make out his face. Sure enough, he'll act so calm even at a time like this. Even so, he'll die here all the same. Her consciousness is slipping further and further, just she's about to slip away completely. She hears a thunderous roar. And with it, a familiar voice.
Ratatas!
Time to go, Ensiotis.
Ratatas, you're finally awake. I'm alive?
You'll never die with Degenbrecher around.
So our trap house, the pride of the Browntails, couldn't stop you, huh?
The wall itself wasn't a problem, but it was a pain to find your room.
Why save me?
I'm here to accept the Browntails' surrender, not to claim the head of their master.
I only said that to lure you here, and now that you've kept me alive, you should know I'm not going to let you have the Browntails under your thumb.
Sir Ensiotis! It's Sir Ensiotis!
Saransiotis, did you really escape from a burning house?
Ratatas, she's the one who did this, isn't she?
Don't worry about her. Quick, find us a coat.
Take mine, Saransiotis, take my coat. A nobleman from among the crowd ardently removes his coat. He then courteously walks up to Ensiotis and puts the coat over his shoulders. However, Ensiotis takes the coat off and walks over to Ratatas, who is sitting on the ground, to put the coat on her instead. Then, without saying another word, he stands up and heads for his car, parked on the other side of the road. Not only did he not arrest Ratatas, he gave her a coat. He is far too generous. Hey, Ratatas here, should we,
Saransiotis just spared her. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
What do you know? Saransiotis is giving us this opportunity.
What do you think you're doing?
Scarious, huh? Don't worry, we'll take care of you too.
Scram, all of you.
This bitch is nuts.
Hey, Ratatas. Ratatas. Snap out of it, we gotta move. To where? Where can we go? Look around us. They're all Browntail subjects. Can't you tell just looking at their eyes? I've lost everything.
Looks like I got here too late.
You're the one who saved me and Arctos. So even you came to laugh in my face.
No, the doctor would like to have a chat with you.
I'll pass. Looking where we ended up, what good would that bring us?
Alright, and this will do it for today. Oh, holy shit, this was a long part again to record. Oh my god, 2 hours 17. I need to go and chill and relax my voice. It was breaking way too much during this last bit. Alright, anyway. But yeah, shit went down. Alright, the next part of this should be up by Thursday, probably late afternoon, at least by Central European time. So, please look forward to it. And let's see the conclusion of this big long story. My god. Okay then, I hope everybody had fun. I sure as hell did. And thank you all for listening and watching, and I will see you in the next part. Bye bye.